Hello everybody, I hope you all had a great weekend. I just want to do a quick educational video on how to play on days like January 6th and what happened when the job report comes up, and based on the action what happened, how to predict and what to play and what to do. So let me show you first by the ES what happened. As you can see here, in the 15 minutes market was around 3800 before the job report comes in. As soon as the job report comes in, it jumps from ES, it jumps from 3820, and the high of last night, that night, was 3840. It jumps above it, it goes to 3870, and then by the time market opens, it pulls back and gives some of the gain back. You can see here, it was over. Oh, it jumped up, it had a sudden jump on the 5 min, and then it pulled back, it jumped up, it reaches the top again, and then before market open at 9 a.m. it shows some sign of weaknesses. That's a signal that you want to be cautious how the open is gonna go. And as you can see here, when market opened at 9:30, it had a small jump, and then suddenly boom, a pullback almost back to 3800 on the SPX. And as you can see here, the 30 minutes was upward, the 1 hour was upward, everything was upward before even these drops happen. And as you can see, 15 5 min, it touched 3800 by 9:45. Okay, so 3828 minus 20 is 3808. SPX touched 3808, and then boom, it starts rising up at 10 a.m. data. It's gave a rise back, because as you know, last few weeks 3800 SPX was always a bounce back, and whenever even touched below it, it bounced back up. So what was interesting was that at 10 a.m. at let me bring 9 a.m. here, the 1 minute chart. So you can see here, it comes down after the morning open here 9:30. It jumps up for even like 5 minutes, and boom, it loses all the gains. You can see here it went below the opening, so that was a bearish sign. It came down, but once it came down, it starts at 9:50. It starts bottoming, and 1 minute gets a golden cross. So that's a signal that maybe it's a river, maybe it's gonna reverse, and it did reverse a little bit, but nothing is strong. And then at 10 a.m. the data came in. As soon as the data came in, it had a big jump. It was a one jump, but it was not solid. And you should the best thing at this situation is to wait, see if is this a valid bounce. Are we gonna go above the opening and the high before the market opens? And it sure did. The 1 minute bounce back, it golden cross, and then after that we got a 5 minute golden cross. As soon as we got a V recovery, you can see here in the 5 minutes we got a V recovery at 10:30. After 10:30 there was a confirmation. So even if you miss the run up here, we got a dead cross here at on the ES at 10:20, and then again at 10:30 we got a valid golden cross here, and after that was just a non-stop run. It non-stop run to a range here, and after that was in the range until 1 o'clock. We got a yellow bar on the 5 min on the ES, SPY, and ES almost the same indicators. And as you can see here, and the 15 min and the 10 o'clock we got starting getting a light blue bar, while the 1 hour and 30 minutes and 1 hour and 4 hour, they were all still bullish. So after that we got a 5 minutes a golden cross here, a confirmation, as I posted in the service, 30906. That was the important level, top of the range to pass. And you can see here, once it passes, it has a non-stop run like 22 points more higher, and then until we got a golden dead cross on the 5 minute was run up, was a direction was run up, and then after that into the close was just lower down. Traders locking profit. And as you can see here, the most important thing was that, even market before open, I told you guys there is a blue line weekly. That's something interesting you want to pay attention. Right now we got a second blue bar on the weekly, and then the most interesting thing was that, the daily at 2:30 and the SPY, we got a golden cross. So these are all bullish signal. But the most important thing to pay attention to is, if you look at the weekly, we have this trend line. Let me show you here. Weekly max. Okay, we have this trend line and the ES that it It's from here. You can see it touched it there, it pulled back. It touched it there, it pulled back. Here it went above it and it pulled back. So my prediction is that it's high chance you're gonna touch it again here, which is possible. It's around 4,000 ES. So if we touch that, we have to see what happens after that. Is it gonna be another fake touch and pulls back? Again, come back inside and go flush down again. So it's after at this point is all about earnings season. What how is the bank is gonna report on Friday and after that takes. If we go above this trend line and we stay above it, then we can talk about the good bull run. But it's all about Fed at the same time. Anyway, let's focus on that day. Apple, the same thing. You want to see. Let me just change this to 5 minutes. You want to see 5 minute one day. Okay. So you can see here, Apple was one of the few names, one of the first names that was stronger and faster recovery, V recovery. That's the most important thing. V recovery, golden cross, 515 was up, 30 was up, and then after that, it was just a matter of breaking 128. That was the top of the range for last few days. It broke 128, boom, went to the next level, 130.26. Amazon was a name I didn't cover. I wasn't expecting this kind of bounce. It was one of the weakest name pre-market. As you can see here, 15 was the bearish, 30 was very bearish, and the 5 minutes was very bearish. So it came down. It was about to touch down 80 and make a new low for the whole, for the 50, make a new low for the 52 weeks. But as soon as it came down, it get a V recovery. And then once you get a 5 minute golden cross, it was 83.24, and after that it had a nice run up all the way to 85.86. Nvidia, another name that this one is just anytime it goes touchdown 140, it tries to go back to 150. As you can see here, the 5 min, it came down, it touched 140. This is a major level last few days. Anytime it goes below it, it gets a nice bounce. It came down 140.55, and then boom. As you can see, as soon as market bounced at like around 950, you can see here it touched down. You can see this when you see a candle like that, that means buyers are coming in. And you got a golden cross confirmation at 950 and 1 min, and then after that was just a non-stop run until 143. And even if you miss that, you can wait for the next golden cross on the 1 min, which happened at 1030. And you can see here from 1030 it had a nice run up. We got an even golden cross on the 5 min at 1030, and then boom, it went all the way to 145, and then another consolidation here in the range, and boom, another run up, leg up to 147. And at the end of the day, we got a nice run up to 150. Because when 15 and 30 getting bullish, and then at that point you just want to pay attention to the leg up. You see here, establish a range, breaks the range, top of the range goes up. Here again, and make a small range here, it breaks the top of the range, boom, runs up again. Here you can see here, establish another range from 230 to like 245, 250, and then boom, it breaks that range, goes up. But you want to be careful, because not a name in a single day cannot break too many range and go up. This one happens to have like 5-6 of them, but at some point you can see here it had a pullback. Baba was a very interesting name too that day on Friday. 107 was a target that I was pushing all day, all week, and you can see here it came to 102, but it bounced back. And you can see here when market bounced, this one 5 minutes golden cross, and it was much stronger than all other names. Yes, it moves a little bit choppy, it was risky, but once you see a 15 and 30, always pay attention. When you see TTM squeeze 15 and 30 is upward like that, it has a high chance to run up. Bidu, same thing, not as strong as Baba, but Baba was interesting that Jack Ma is appearing to losing control, so that's helping the stock jump up a little bit. What else? Netflix was very interesting actually. Netflix was very, very, very weak at open. As you can see here, at pre-market it got almost close to 317.51, and then when market opened, it was a little bit choppy until like the first 5 minutes, and then boom, it broke below the range and market got bearish. And then I posted in the service, it comes to 308. If you can hold it, next one 305, and boom, it come to 305. Here we got a golden cross on the 1 minute, and was still bearish. But at that time, and at 10:30, you can see here market bounce at 10 o'clock, and it was just going up, but Netflix was still weak. But at 10:30, later than all other names, at 10:35, this one got a golden cross on the 10:40. At 10:40, got a golden cross on the 5 min. Once it get that, it established a range until like 11:45. You can see here this range. It breaks, and then once it broke that range, it went close to 312.95, which was the range which was top of the range for last few days, 312.25 to 312.95. But at the same time, it got a golden cross at 11:30, and it got a golden cross on the 30 min at 11:30, same time again. And then at that time, when you see a golden cross, and then let's look at the 1 o'clock, you can see here, once it broke, it reached 312.95. It didn't reach it and pulls back. It reaches it and it stays there. So that was a sign that maybe it's going to continue going higher, because the 5 min, look at this, the bars are non-stop rising. And then yes, it continued rising. It went RSI to overbought zone, and then it was just a non-stop to the next level, 314.95. And then after that, another range established here, one false breakdown, and then got close to 317.51 target before close. Meta was interesting too. As you can see here, that one, same thing. All the names made a V recovery. Once they made a V recovery, they all break the V recovery top range and went higher. And this one, not too much up, but it got close to 130.89 target. Tesla was the most interesting one. This name, I actually played put on at the open on this. So you can see here, it got to 101. If it would have break 101, it would have go to 98.58. But what was interesting is that when market opened, it went up. So it was a strong, and then joined the market fall down. But it bounced earlier than all other names. So it touched 101, but after that, there was not enough power to go down. You can see here, it was not like a solid fall down. And what was most interesting about Tesla is that if you use the on-demand, you can see here pre-market, the 15 at 8:45 got a golden cross, and the 15 minutes was already bullish, and the 4 hour we already had yellow bar pre-market, even though it went down. So that was a signal that maybe this is gonna have a bounce. And because of the 15 min, it didn't have enough power to drop more lower. It held 101, and as you can see here, it made a fast V recovery here. Once it passed 104, it got very quickly to 107. And after 107, the next target, as it posted, was 112. That was a critical level. It passes that, and then was at close to 114.91. The most interesting thing is that on Friday, finally, Tesla closed on the RSI closed above oversold zone. So that was very interesting, and the 4 hours golden cross. So if we get a golden cross on daily on Tesla this coming next week, it's gonna get really interesting. Probably maybe this is the bottom. I'm not saying it's not gonna retest 100 again, but this is probably bottom of the range for now, established until maybe the earning breaks down. So what you want to see is, at 9:30, even with this kind of bounce, that the recovery that happened, the 30 min got a golden cross, and then at 11:30, the blue bar starts rising on Tesla, which is the sign. Even though, look here, it pulled back, it went to 1283, and it pulled back to 110. We were still bearish on the 30 min, and you can see here the 15 min, it never dead crossed until like almost near close. And the other thing to pay attention to is that, the IV on Tesla was rising up like after 1 o'clock. So that was a signal that algo's expecting that, this is getting bullish. Another name to pay attention, Microsoft, was very interesting actually. Microsoft, it did made a V recovery at the open, but it established a range that never broke. You can see here, look, it same like all other names. It touched down 219. It made a V recovery, but it never broke like the range top like all other names at 1 o'clock. And that was the interesting part, that at 1 o'clock, when Microsoft broke the top of the range almost here at 130, it helped market to push higher. So that's because Microsoft has a big weight on SPY and QQ and Nasdaq and S&P 500. So that was a big help. Microsoft and broke out here at 223 and went all the way to the next level, 225. Google, Not much exciting, but same thing. These two helped the end of the day run up, because they were all both still under top of the lower of the range, and you can see it's still Google, even though made a almost V recovery, it came down again. But end of the day, when 1:30, 2 o'clock, this Google starts jumping up. These help the market run up end of the day. AMD, another name exactly like Nvidia. Even it fall down huge at open, but it got a 5 minute golden cross. As same like all other names like after 10 o'clock. So when this confirmed that this is probably the bottom of this name for the day, and you can see here 15 and 30 both golden cross. These are signal when both of them golden cross, and the 1 hour joins and the 4 hour gives a yellow bar. These are all signals that it's gonna have a run up. 62 was the target, the next one, then we got to 63.94 too. Boeing was very interesting. At the open, it had a very nice jump. It jumped from 205, made a new low, made a new high for the season, touched 208, and this was because this was prior to market open. This was bear bullish, and the whole week was this bullish. So even though market was choppy and was going down toward down, in the first 5 minutes, Boeing jumped up big. But then when market got bearish, this joined the two, and it almost come back to the major level 203. This is why I post the major levels. It almost came to 203, but then when market bounced, this one the same thing, bounce up, made a V recovery, established a range here, one breakout, and then boom. We got a 5 minute golden cross at 10 o'clock, and then we got a yellow bar, yellow from red to yellow, yellow to light blue, and then it was just a non-stop run, non-stop run to the close. You can see here, because of the 15 and 30 got a golden cross. This was just non-stop, and this name, it's probably just the beginning. It can possibly go much higher. BA and Baba, and these are two top names right now, two top bullish names in my list right now. Another thing SPY you want to pay attention is that SPY made a V recovery in the first 1 hour, and then when it made the first 1 hour, you want to see here it may establish a range, it break the top of the range, it had the next move to the next major level, which was 385. After that, if you watch the tweets I said, the next major level was 389.85, and then you can see here before close it almost got there. QQQ, same thing, establish a range at the open. It break the top of the range. It drops. It made a V recovery, establish a range here from like 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock to 10:30, and then once it broke the top of the range, went to the next level, 263, next major level, and after that it got close to 269.02, and then fix that. The next after it broke the 263 265 major level, it reached the next major level, which was 269.02, and it almost closed below that. And what else? Costco was very interesting. Costco had a news for their sales. They report every month, and this one was a very nice gap up open, at gap up open, at the same time at open jumped up higher, and I posted about that. The next level was 49. It's really possible to hit 500 too. Caterpillar made a new high, so you want to pay attention when a name makes a new all-time high. This one we want to watch next few weeks. For next week. That's pretty much it. Gold is a lot of people watching. Gold is making crazy moves these times. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Just want to show you guys when something is making a V recovery and establish a range. When it breaks the top of the range, can go in next leg up, and then makes another range, the next leg up. So you want the same thing when something falls. It can fall and then makes a range, and then once it breaks the low of the range, it can go another leg down. These are the ones you want to pay attention to. Thank you, and hope you all had a